Hello, today we're going to look at one of those iconic Balenciaga designs. This 1967 wedding dress, which was one of his last collections. And for me, this has always been one of his mystery garments, because for years, all I could ever find was this image. And you can sort of work out how it's maybe drafted, but of course, without the front, a lot of it always remained completely mysterious. But I recently found some front photos from a new exhibition. So as soon as I saw them, I knew I had to make up my little version and to do a little deep dive into how it all works. So what we basically have is a really simplistic but rather clever one seam garment, and that's how it was called at the time, because it only has that one obvious center back seam, and when the front and the back are all cut out of one. In reality, it's not a one seam garment, it's actually got three seams, because it also got shoulder seams, of course, and it's got these really little cap sleeves, and it's all cut out of one basically sort of circular garment. And what basically happens is that it is a quarter circle, but the way it's cut and the way the hem is distributed and the way the seam is placed, that gives you a really sort of train, that's a very regal garment. And mine is actually quite short, so mine is only knee length, which is why it sort of doesn't quite look in proportion. The original was made from a silk gazelle, which was a fabric a Swiss textile manufacturer developed for Balenciaga, which is like a double organza. So it's like a silk with a very tightly spun yarn and a double weave, which basically is very, very lightweight, but holds its shape, and which is how you can get these amazing silhouettes. I'm going to turn over to the table now and sort of show you how it actually looks like, a drafting behind it, and how you could draft your own, and also what fabrics and adaptations you could use as well. Let's have a look at it in detail. So this is the front view, and then you can also on the side view see there is actually one more seam. So it's definitely not a one seam dress, but of course it has one statement seam and there's another side seam. And what it basically is, from the front, it's got these little cap sleeves. And then it's got a really interesting little sort of cutout armhole. And then it doesn't actually look that A-line. And what it has across, roughly at hip level, is a seam. And that, I think, is used purely to piece together the garment, because it's such a big piece of fabric. Then from the side, it basically, again, it has this sort of cap sleeve. It's a sort of slightly asymmetric armhole. Then it basically sort of goes to the bust, and then from the bust, it slightly changes angle and it falls down relatively straight. And then if you go to the back view again, you can sort of see how it's got this massive train. So it's like this, and you can, and that basically that seam sort of continues like that. And I think that's purely done for fabric reasons. So if you have fabric wide enough, you probably wouldn't need to do it. And then the back, of course, has that single seam going down, and then again it has the straight seam. And what you can sort of see, can you see at the side seams here, there is sort of a fold, and that is basically because the fabric is being pushed to the back. If I get my little sample back again, can you see it's basically in the armhole we have quite a lot of access. So when you just don't have an arm like my mannequin, it looks quite loose here. But what happens if you put in your arm, you actually, it sits quite nicely and tightly at the front, and then all this excess volume gets sort of pushed to the back, and it basically sort of creates like a cape or like a pleat. And you could even then put a little bit of sort of support in there. But this is what it basically looks like. So it has like a sort of like a pleat here, and then of course that seam continues like that, and there will be like some sort of keyhole entry to get in and out. It might even be a really deep zip or something, so you can step in and out. So this is the basics of it, and there's quite a few versions, so I'm going to show you a few other versions. So in 2021, Balenciaga, for the Haute Couture show, did a similar version, but they used a slightly different fabric. So I think this is probably a very similar pattern, but I think they might have even used the same fabric, but since the 60s, fabrics have changed as well, or they used a looser fabric, because in motion, the 2021 looks like that. It looks very fluid, and it sort of loses that sculpturedness of the original, but it's sort of quite, you could see how different fabrics really make it play around. Balenciaga also did a green one, more for sort of evening wear, which looks like that. You can see it's the same fabric, but he's cut it shorter, and that looks again really beautiful. And again, you can see how, because it is shorter, rather than it staying like that, the volume basically collapses and forms this really nice sort of pleated layers, and you can very clearly see how there's a pleat at the back again. So there's lots of variations you can do. And then the last variation, which I actually really liked, is from 1968, which is this one, which is, I think, basically Balenciaga revisiting his 1967 and then you making a variation of it. And this one has proper sleeves, and you can see it's got a seam going from here, and I'm going to show you a close-up quickly. So you can see how that's a close-up of the 1968. So you can see how it's a variety, but it's all based on the same principle. And the principle is basically that the whole garment is cut from one piece, and you would use that as your starting point. So if you think, if you did a full circle, that would be far too much volume, because that would look, of course, folded. It would look like that, and our dress doesn't look like that. If you used a half circle, so like that, that of course folded looks like this, which still, you know, we want more straight at the front. So I played around a bit with it, and I think it's actually a quarter circle, which then folded on the half basically looks like that. So that seems a little bit too, maybe too mean, but if I'm going to put the image up again so you can see it while I'm doing it. Actually, so if I have a quarter circle like that and I fold it in half, it does look a little bit mean. It doesn't look quite got enough volume. But if I then change the edge of a quarter circle like that, for example, can you see how I suddenly get a really big train at the end? So if that's your front and that's your back, you suddenly have a lot more volume at the back. And of course, depending on how you sort of change the curve at the bottom, you basically end up with different angles. But being a quarter circle gives you roughly the right sort of proportions, where it's relatively straight at the front, where it's folded, and then at the back, where we have our seam, it is pretty much coming out like it is. So I think it is a quarter circle. You always think, because it's such a spectacular gown, it has to be something like a full circle or a half circle, but you can sort of see how this is a sort of gown would look roughly like it. And then of course what happens is that this is your center front line, like that, which is on the fold. What we have, of course, is our seam going across at hip level, which then hits the center back at the right angle. So that's always a really good start. And what I find really fascinating, because when I first looked at it, I assumed this would be the straight of grain and the center front would be on the bias. However, because this piece, the piecing seam, where I've put two lengths of fabric together, that goes like that. So I'm wondering whether this is actually the straight of grain. And you would have to sort of experiment with it, because the fabric is so sculptural, it probably keeps its shape both on the bias and on the straight of grain. But either that seam or this seam most likely will be on the bias. So not yet easy to construct either way. But what you would start out with is basically your circle, the quarter circle like that, and you need to make this length the length you want your garment to be. But of course, what we need to do is, when you fold it in half, so that's the center front, you need to have your front and back parts. So they look something like that. So the center back and the center front. So you could start with any bodice or top with a grown-on sleeve, and you literally get a massive piece of paper with a right angle in the corner, you fold it in half, and then you just arrange your front and back onto it until it touches, and you use that as your starting point. So you can see how you can actually sort of use an existing sewing pattern you have or bodice to make this pattern. And it's just about getting a right angled piece of fabric and then arranging where you want this to be. And I would always make a top version first to start, just to work it out. But isn't it amazing with something like basically a quarter circle with a slightly asymmetrically shaped seam, because it won't be shaped like this, it's probably shaped something like, I think it's shaped like that. Gives you a dress as spectacular as is. So this is the pattern you would start with, and I imagine the original Balenciaga was draped and worked out, but you can see how you can use your flat pattern cutting by using existing garment to get a starting point on how to work it. And then the fabric is really important. So the original is a gazelle, which is a double silk. You can still get it, so do have a look. But also, if you said, you might want to make a wedding dress. Again, if you made it out of a floatier silk or a more sort of maybe a double satin, then it would look more like our 2021 one. It would look more like that, I think. But you could also imagine this being actually a top in a linen, for example, will look really beautiful. Construction-wise, I think that there is basically like something holding it in at the back. So I think there's a little sort of underlayer like that, which basically is stitched to the underarm, and it pulls everything back and it keeps it relatively nice and fitted at the front. So it sort of helps it, because otherwise, I showed you how if you put your arm in, it does push it back. But I think if you had something pulling it back as well, that would help even more. So I think there's an inner garment like that. It could even be like your lining, which doesn't need to be as big. And I think that the sort of dress is then stitched with lining, which gives it a pleat effect. And Balenciaga did that quite a lot with different styles, where things get sort of held back, because at the front you don't want all excess volume to sort of go forward. You want it to stay back, and if it's held back and sort of tucked in there, that will give you the pleat and keep the front relatively straight. The hem would have a really deep facing. It might even be quite interesting because it doesn't show any stitching whatsoever. So it's either interfaced and hand stitched, or what is quite interesting when we look at the green one, which is the same fabric, you can see that one even looks like it's maybe fully lined in self fabric or something, because you can see it's either got very, very deep facing at the hem, or they basically completely interfaced it. it's not quite sure. So I will always start with a deep interfacing and then hand stitch it invisibly to a thing. And again, I think this is either faced like that, or again, it could be that the whole front is just faced as one, but I think more likely it just has the facing for the sleeves and neckline. So I hope you now have a little bit more of understanding how you can use a single quarter circle to make a spectacular dress, or a top version if you wanted, for yourself. The things like that is getting literally the fit around here right, and then the rest is a quarter circle, so it just has to fit into that quarter circle. Be aware, this will take ridiculous amounts of fabric if you make it full scale. So this is a half scale, and this took the full width of a calico just to make what is basically, I think, a calf length gown. It's not even floor length. So it's a great experiment, but that's why you want to get this section first. You could really do a crop top to begin with. And then once you're happy with the fit, the sleeves, all these sort of things, that's when you would make it longer. But it is such an iconic style, and it's sort of, it's so simple but so beautiful at the same time. So it's worth having a play around and trying it out, even if you just make some mini versions like I did. Just use some paper and work out and say, oh, do you agree with me? Do you actually would make it slightly different? How would you make that curve at the bottom? Would you make it completely straight, or is it like I think, like some sort of S shape? As always, I would love to hear your comments to let me know what you think of it. And if you want to learn how to draft your own clothes, you're always welcome to do so with me. I've put a link in the description to my pattern cutting school. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.